Natsu.
Hello everybody and welcome along to Harker Oval. It is round 11 of the Tui's Cup. We're here this afternoon for the battle between the Western Suburbs Rosellas and the Port Stephens Sharks. Well, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my co-commentator for this afternoon. He's well known around the Hunter, Steve the Swede Dunstan. Welcome to Bar TV.
Thank you, Peter, and it's nice to be... Looking forward to a torrid battle out here at Harker Oval today.
Met a few birds throughout the afternoon. Were telling me that you've done your homework throughout the in the last 24 hours. Steve Kidd said you've studied up. You didn't get much sleep last night.
Got a lot of sleep. I was out with Kitty till about midnight. I think he was out later, but no, we had a little team dinner after I lost the curry yesterday. Just get the boys a little bit closer together, as you do at this stage of the year, and when you're trying to sort of build a platform for the end of the season.
For sure. Well, we're about 3-4 minutes away from kickoff here this afternoon. A blustery afternoon here in Newcastle. It's been blowing a gale pretty much since around 6 o'clock last night. And you were just saying to me, Steve, it's blowing a gale and it feels like Antarctica up in Cessnock this morning.
Yeah, well, I live out near Stonebridge Golf Course and I got up and I saw two polar bears wrestling on the 5th green this morning. So, you know, it is freezing up there. It's sort of minus 1.5 this morning, so cold up in the Hunter Valley.
Mate, how do you see this game going today? Of course, the Western Suburbs Rosellas, well, they pretty much gave the Sharks their biggest loss of the season, 66 points to nil, back in round 4, and there's a stack of changes again for the Sharks this afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for the Sharks to back up from playing midweek as it is. This will be their 3rd game in 7 days. Yeah, so they wouldn't have done a lot of training in, but look, they're a strong and resilient side, and I'm sure they'll put up a big effort here today against the Rosellas, who are probably the odds-on favourites for the comp this year.
Well, we might go through the Western Suburbs Rosellas side. At full back, we have Justin Smith. On the wings is Ale and also Callan Richardson. The centre pairings of Simon Williams and Steve Gordon. The 5'8" today is Jay Porter. Half back is Brad Murray. The prop is Mark Tafua, James Wolford in 9, Ryan Petro in 10, Jake Finn in 11. If you've just tuned to the coverage, Peter Mannion, he's no longer playing this afternoon for the Rosellas, while Lucas Miller, he goes into the lock forward position. The interchange this afternoon for the Western Suburbs Rosellas looks this way. In 14 is Mitch Williams. Playing his 106th game this afternoon for Western Suburbs is David Dryden in 15. 16 is Mark Farah. 17 is Tim Penny. And, of course, Larry Tafua. He's in jersey number 20. And, of course, they're coached by Craig Miller. Let's go through the Port Stephens Sharks. At fullback today, we have number 1, of course, in Brodie Lamb. On the wings is Willie Palau and Jared Donnelly. The centre pairings of Robert Gudgeon and James McCabe. 5'8" and half-back is Dan Harris and Trent Green. Khan Doyle no longer in the squad. In to replace him will be the number 8 in Roy McMahon. Hooker this afternoon for the Sharks is Kyle McCarthy. Back rowers of Marvin Tarney, Glenn Payton, Tama Kupu, and locking the scrum for the Port Stephens side this afternoon will be Will Clark. The interchange of Reece Chappell, Ryan O'Connor and Justin Affleck. And of course they're coached by Adam Brown.
Yeah, two very strong sides, I think, running out. I know the Port Stephens Sharks have got a few changes, but young Brodie Lamb at fullback, he'll give the Sharks a real good value from the back and returning the ball. He's a strong player, really fast kid, so look forward to him to doing some damage out there today. And Dan Harris is an up-and-coming young kid with a bit of quality. Meanwhile, like Glenn Payton and Tarina Kupu in the back row, they'll give a nice solid benchmark in the defensive style of a game that the Port Stephens Sharks will need to have to hold the Rosellas in the middle.
Okay, well, last week, of course, the Western Suburbs Rosellas defeated Curry right here on Bar TV. That was our match that we covered with the Newcastle Herald's Josh Leeson. They got up that day by 30 points to 20. Of course, it's been a big week for Port Stephens. This is their 3rd clash in the Tui's Cup this week. Last time they went around was only a few days ago, Wednesday night up there at Tomaruri Central. Got up and got the biscuits that night by 28 points to 8. And, of course, the last match previous to that was Lakes. They went down to them. And also Souths by 24 points to 16. Well, we're about to go. It's round 11 of the Tui's Cup. A quick tip today, you can't go past the Rosellas.
No, I can't go past the Rosellas today, although teams backing up the 3 games in 7 days can be very hard to beat. They've got good match fitness, so let's just see how the first 15 minutes pan out and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, we're about set. Harker Oval, live and exclusive, Sunday afternoon football, right here on Bar TV.
Yeah, well, the players are all out in the field, but currently there's no officialdom. So when we do get someone out there, we can get the game underway. But looks like, well, they might be out the back having a fag or something or getting ready. I'm not quite sure what they're doing, but normally someone would have been out there ready to kick off.
We need to send out an SAS. Referee, if you're listening, we need you out there. Or if there is any other referee in the ground, welcome to the cricket pitch area and we'll get underway. So the Cronulla Sharks looks like then. The Port Stephens Sharks will be running from left to right.
Here we go. They're on their way.
Here he comes now. The touchies are out there. Have we seen a referee?
Yeah, the referee's
Here he
there
comes.
as well. Yep.
All right, we're set to go.
I might be wrong, but is this referee making his first day debut today, or?
Well, maybe that's why he was nervous coming out there. Maybe he had the jitters, Steve.
He might have had to go back and find a little room before he got out there. But Cameron Mitchell in his first day debut as a referee, let's see how he goes.
And the kick has gone deep. As we said, a blowing gale in the first half coming out of the south here on Bar TV as the Western Suburbs Rosellas have the first use of the football, and this is Tafua. He runs it out to the 20-metre line. Wolford in a dummy half. He's got a bit of a pad under his left-hand eye there, I think you'll find. We might find out exactly what has happened to him throughout the week as we see now the lock forward taking it forward, and this is Lucas Miller. He's cut down 5 metres short of the halfway line. Last tackle coming up now for the Rosellas. They're going to kick off the boot. Goes straight down to the Sharks. They've got the football, and this is the number 1 bringing it back for the first time in Brodie Lamb. Big Swede, and he's tackled 5 short of the halfway line.
Yeah, well, what Barney Miller would have been after was a good first set, and West went out and gave that to him. A good kick downfield. Now we'll just see how the tackle pressure comes with the speed of line. I thought Port Stephens started pretty well, so there's Willie Paleo now making a very strong run up the middle of the park.
And he offloaded the ball too. This is McCarthy. He runs it to Tafua. And he's going to be dropped down 31 metres away from the Rosellas line. He'll get up and play the ball. They'll kick off the boot now. That's a high one. It's swirling around. The Rosellas have to play at it. Did well, Justin Smith. Equally better, the Sharks. They've driven him into the in-goal area. We're going to have a goal line drop out here. 3 minutes gone, 0-0 the score.
Yeah, well, Trent Green is an excellent player. He knows how to manage the field very well, and that kick was... He chased really well into the in-goal and bowled him in there, held him down, and look, they're under a little bit of pressure for the first time in the game. Western Suburbs, let's see what they've got on their own goal line.
Okay, here's the goal line dropout. It's an absolute beauty. It's gone 48 metres on the fly. And bringing it back is Will Clark. He gets the legs pumping and he's been picked up and dumped there by Mark Tafua. He'll play the football back now, 31 metres out from the line. This is McMahon. He goes for a dart. He's tackled 21 metres away from the Rosellas line. Back to Harris. He now finds McCarthy. They go out to the eastern side of the field, and this is the centre 3/4 in Robert Gudgeon. He's on the grass. 15 metres away from the Rosellas line. Here come the Sharks. Back to Clark. He only knows one way, and that's straight and hard towards the goalpost. Harris, he finds himself in a hooker position. Gives it away now to O'Connor. He's close. A metre away. The Rosellas under the pump. The Sharks on the attack. They kick it in the in-goal area. There's going to be more pressure. Did that come off a Rosella player? I think you'll find it has.
Yes, it looks like it has, and it'll be another goal line dropout. Port Stephens Sharks throwing a bit at them then, and what you've got to do with Western Suburbs is you've got to put some pressure on them when you have the ball down that end of the field and make sure that you come up with a good result, and they have done that.
Well, Kyle McCarthy, pinpoint kick. Well, Western Suburbs Rosellas, certainly A bit of a scare for them in the opening 5 minutes of this match. It's been all the Sharks. They haven't had the football yet, as now they take the tackle about 21 metres away from their own line. This is Harris lining up with the ball. Comes back to O'Connor. He's dropped down now 21 metres out from the Rosellas line. Options left, options right. Which way will they work it? They go now to the commentary side. This is Green. Turns it back to McKay. Can he offload? Looks to. He does. Did well. This is Clark. Ends up where McCabe offloaded the ball to him. Now to Harris in a dummy half. Works the eastern side of the field. This is McCarthy. Turns it back on the inside. Green offloading. The ball's on the ground. Who wants to pick it up? It's play on for the Sharks. They go towards the line. It's out the back. Well, they've lost possession. Now they've got to go away and collect the football. The big Swede. And they've got the ball 21 metres out from the Rosellas line.
There's a lot of pressure here on West, but their defence is holding very well. They're not sliding across the field. They're just up managing what Port Stephens are throwing at them at the moment. What you'll find, though, is Port Stephens just sort of pushing the ball left, pushing the ball right. They need to manage it and get to one side of the field and develop and then sort of open the defence up a bit, give themselves an opportunity to find some holes in the Wests.
Well, I think their tactic is they haven't got anything to lose in this battle, and they're throwing everything but in the kitchen sink too. The Western Suburbs, Rosellas here. Bar Television. In the commentary box this afternoon, Steve the Swede Dunstan, coached more than 450 games across the rugby league spectrum. Of course, the right-hand man to Malcolm Reilly when the Knights won the 1997 ARL Grand Final. And then, of course, Steve spent a bit of time back with Malcolm overseas before coming back here and tagging along to the terrace as well as a coach. Now he finds himself up coaching the under-23s at Cessnock, so a wealth of experience in the commentary box here this afternoon, and we thank him for his time as we see now Brad Murray sees a gap and he runs into Roy McMahon, and they pick him up and try to drive him back to the halfway line. 0-all the score. They kick off the boot of Murray. The ball's gone downfield. It bounces on the 10, rolls back into the in-goal area. Brodie Lamb looks up. He's got the welcoming reception in front of him. Tries to go across field before he's been picked up, and they try and drive him, Steve, in towards his own in-goal area.
Yeah, well, you can see that the Port Stephens forwards are slow getting back on side. Like that's the second tackle, and we've still got 2 or 3 players getting back in the line. They're really going to have to get back there and work these sets out and get some good field position back up the other end of the park and put West under some pressure.
10 minutes gone here at Harker Oval. The undefeated premiers, the Western Suburbs Rosellas, up against the Port Stephens Sharks. We've had 6.5 minutes on the official game clock. And a penalty, Steve, goes to the Sharks, 20 short of the halfway line.
I just think West, if you look at the body language of both sides out there, it looks like it's all a bit of a chore at the moment. So let's hope that something happens in the next 5 or 10 minutes just to liven it up a little bit. The Sharks is getting to the middle of the park, all right, but what you find at Harker Oval is the teams like to play on the edges and stay away from the cricket pitch, which is today looking very unassuming, if that's a good word.
It's a perfect word. As we see now, the Sharks, what can they do? Are they about to go in towards the 20? They're short by 5 metres. They'll get up and play the football. The Rosellas certainly have had a defensive workout in the opening 8 minutes of this match, and it's not finished yet. McBabe's got the football. Oh, one Rosellas fell over, and he's gone down 12 metres away from the Rosellas line. They'll get up and play the ball. Harris will get the ball. He's got it. Fires along to the 12 in Kupu, and it takes 4. Try 5. Rosella's there to put him on his back. A metre short of the line. Harris spinning it to the left-hand side. They'll kick off the boot of McCarthy. Will it go dead? It does. Yeah, back out to the 20.
With that breeze at his back, it's always going to be difficult to kick the ball in the air and make sure you land it in the end goal. Only short in goals at Harker Oval. So more than likely want to keep the ball on the ground and get the opportunity to get it back. But Port Stephens look all right at the moment.
Well, Western Suburbs, they got away to a pretty slow start last weekend against Curry. Speaking to Craig Miller, the coach, shortly before kickoff here today, he was a bit worried. He said the last 4 or 5 weeks hasn't been the best for the Rosellas. And, of course, it won't get any better. He's going to lose up to 3 players in coming weeks as well when the countryside head across the Pacific to Hawaii to take on the Hawaiian residents at Aloha Stadium as the Rosellas now have a penalty. First penalty of the match to the Rosellas, Steve, then they'll kick it in the touch, 40 out from the Sharkies goal line.
Well, much better set there from Western Suburbs. They've gone up the field about nearly 50 metres on the back of that, and they'll be tapping this ball about 20 metres out from the Port Stephens Sharks line, and might see something happening here.
This is Murray, offloads it to Tafua. The oldest of the Tafua brothers, of course, Larry Tafua, in 20 this afternoon as well. Back to the 10. This is Ryan Petro. Picked up a try last week against Curry. Clark's hurt there for the Sharkies. Play on, says the referee. Wolford scoots from dummy half. Climbing on the back of him is Roy McMahon, and he's held up. And that was only the second or third tackle, so they'll play the ball 5 out from the Sharks goal line.
They've also got Clark down for Port Stephens Sharks in the middle of the field. He copped a heavy knock then, trying to make that tackle. But boy, that looked very close. Just a couple of the Port Stephens Sharks players down now, although we're only like 9 minutes into the first half. There's a couple of players look like they're struggling a little bit, niggling injuries they might have brought out of Wednesday night's game. So let's hope that we can manage to get right through today.
Well, this is it on the Bar TV replay of Will Clark, who was getting up slowly to his feet. And luckily the Sharks were able to stop the nuggeting Wolford there as we come back to live pitches here at Harker Oval. Well, as we have a break in play here, we might just touch on yesterday's clash up at Cessnock. Gee, it was all happening up there at Badley's Park.
Yeah, it was. With 20 minutes to go, Curry didn't look like they were in the game. Cessnock seemed to have the game in hand, but a lot of things can change, and 2 players I thought were dominant, and that was Campton and Mitch Cullen changed the game. Excuse me, I just got a rat in my throat. They changed the game for Curry, and Curry were too strong in the end, and very disappointing result for the Goannas.
And, of course, a big crowd up there as well, supporting the Goannas as well. Of course, the match didn't go without incident, though. There was a bit of banter from the crowd.
Yeah, well, I think end of the day there was a group of players on the other side of the field from an earlier game who were giving the sideline umpire a bit of beraggling throughout the game and second half. My opinion, they should have just switched the touch judges from one side to the other and would have canned that immediately.
Well, there's massive concern out here for the lock forward in Will Clark. Trainers from both sides have come together to determine what has actually happened. They haven't moved him.
Yeah, when you see the trainer holding the player's head like he is, you'd have to assume that there's something wrong in the neck or head region. So they've still got him on his back. It's good to see both clubs there looking after the player, but let's hope he's okay.
Indeed. And, of course, if you just clicked on to Bar TV's coverage here, stack of changes to the Port Stephens Sharks. Brodie Lamb has his opportunity to prove his way into the side full-time as the replay, we're watching it right now.
It just shows him copping a knock off one of his own players here if you watch. It just
head knock.
Yeah, it's sort of like compressed heads, and he's gone back. Let's hope there's not too much damage there. They are calling for a stretcher, however, so...
There you go. That's it there, right there. We might be able to just play and frame it second by second. Just look for the clash of heads. There. You never like to see that in any game of rugby league.
What happens in that? And it could be anything there around the AC joint, around the shoulder region, rotator, or in the back of the neck. But let's just hope it's like something that, and it doesn't put any distress on Will.
Well, I believe that they're calling for, obviously, the medical practitioner here at the ground, the doctor as well, might be heading out there very shortly. So it's time off here We've had 11 minutes of the match, and it's 0-all so far on the Bar TV scoreboard.
Probably have a quick chat about some of the results from yesterday. A couple of surprises. Lakes United 30 defeated South 28. Probably that is a major surprise for most of the people following the real NRL this year. There we go, Will Clark's up now and he's moving off the field with the trainer, and he's actually walking from the field, so great news.
Oh, that's fantastic news. Will Clark, no doubt his family and friends have tuned in to Bar TV, and they'd be happy with the sight that they're seeing right now as play about to get back underway here as we go back into the play the ball. So don't forget that was on the third tackle, so they've still got a few tackles up their sleeve, and it's 0-all, and the referee says play on. This is Petro. 3-man in the tackle from the Sharks to bring him down. Western Suburbs looking for their first points of the match. Comes through the arms of Porter. Can he offload? He does. Gordon stepping, looks up. Close. A metre out from the line. This is the last tackle. Wolford. They come out to the left-hand side. They're kicking into the in-goal area. Will they get it back? Sharks take it dead.
Yeah, drop out under the post. Good work there by Steve Gordon back on the inside. Really troubled the defence. But if you look to this side of the park, Western Suburbs has started to throw a little bit at the Sharks, who look a little bit beraggled behind the line. We'll see what happens on the back of this set.
Let's see if the wind comes into this goal line dropout. They've got it behind them, and it's gone down to the halfway line. Justin Smith puts the boot out and sets it back up to Callan Richardson. And there's a penalty. That's
a tackle. That's a high tackle there by the Glenn Payton, the talisman, as you might call him, all the way from Raymond Terrace to Maitland, and now with the Port Stephens Sharks. Top player, had a little bit to do with him in the lower grades earlier in my career and early in Glenn's career. He's an excellent player, good demeanour, top bloke.
Well, they're building momentum. This is when they're dangerous, the defending premiers. This is Lucas Miller. 5 metres away from the Sharks line. 0-all on the Bar TV scoreboard. Murray goes himself, loses the football. So the referee calls it back up. We'll have a scrum 10 metres away from the Sharks goal line.
Yeah, and the loss of that football came from good outside pressure by the Port Stephens Sharks backs. They really got up at good line speed then and put some pressure on the passer and came up with a result. So 10 metres out from their own line, they'll have a scrum feed.
Big Speed, if you're the coach of the Sharks right now, gee whiz, you'd be fairly happy. Adam Brown, they've been able to dodge everything that the Rosellas have been able to throw at them so far.
Well, their completion rate is right up there. They're running at probably 80 to 90% at the moment, which you have to do at this level of football to maintain some opportunity in the game.
As the Sharks now find themselves 20 metres short of the halfway line, coming out of their own end. This is Donnelly. The defence is strong over the top there from 3 Rosellas. One of them there was the 4 Steve Gordon. Leading point scorer as well. Gordon, 3 tries, 18 goals, 48 personal points.
And that's Willie Palau making a strong run in the centre of the field then. That's what he's got to do. Take some pressure off his forwards when he can and get some good yards with a quick play the ball.
Sharks now, they'll look for a clearing kick. Here it comes. Hasn't got much depth, but it's definitely got height. Ball swirling around, indecision at the back. So Williams has to go up and clean the football up before the Sharkies swarm down on him, 10 away from their own goal line.
Well, I think you find 2 players were calling mine then. What we as coaches try to get the player to put a name on it. So if it's Smith and Johnson, it's Johnson's or Smith's ball. No one out there has called mine. I haven't seen him in the program.
Great insight there from Steve the Sweet Dunstan in the commentary box here this afternoon here on Bar TV. And the touch judge puts his flag up. 20 metres away from the Rosellas goal line is where they've been able to find the line. This is Tafua. Kupu's got him, along with 3 other Sharkies over the top. Ryan O'Connor as well. Wolford, short. They advance it towards the halfway line here. We've had 15 minutes at the first half. This is Lucas Miller. in the middle of the cricket pitch. Understand the cricket pitch could be a fresh one come next season. If the feedback from the council's correct, they're looking to upgrade the cricket oval. Back there now to the 6 is Porter. He takes the line on. Drop down. 18 metres away from the Sharks line. Last tackle now for the Rosellas. Back there now to Murray. He's going to put in a kick. It's a big one. Who's going to come down with a football? Picked up by the Rosellas. They're heading towards the line. They've scored. First try. Mark Farrer. He barges his way over. 4-0, 15 gone.
Yeah, well, like they are, the balls in the air can be a little bit of a lottery then, and Richardson went up really well in the air, beat Palau in the air, came down with the ball, got an offload away, and that's a really nice try there. Good timing by the Rosellas.
Have a look at the leap out of the air. If you're an AFL lover or a AFL lover here on Bar TV, you'll be impressed with that effort. And the referee awards the spot. Well, they've had to wait 15 minutes to crack, but it's 4-0 with the kick to come.
Yeah, well, the Sharks didn't do a lot wrong there. They did all they can. Like I said, the ball in the air is always a bit of a lottery. And you can see Palau get up. Richardson gets up with him. He gets in front of him. Gets the offload away. Dryden picks it up well, has the ball in the right hand to get the fend on the fullback, and scores a nice try.
15 to the right-hand side of the post towards the northern end of Harker Oval here. Great to have Steve the Swede Dunstan offering his thoughts and experience in the Bar TV commentary box here this afternoon, being beamed right around the globe through the YouTube, the Newcastle Herald, the Maitland Mercury. We thank you, the viewer, for clicking on as well. Without the viewers, we wouldn't have a product, and that pretty much reaches down to the Newcastle Rugby League. Without the fans, what do you have at any level of rugby league? This is Tafua. No, it's not. It's his brother. Well, it is Tafua, but it's Larry, and he's the youngest one of the two as well.
Well, big Larry Tafua reminds me of a bloke we had at school. Massive. We used to call him Mick the Murderous Mountain of Mayhem, and he runs exactly like that.
Okay, let's see what he's got for the next 50 minutes of this match. As we see now the 9, Wolford burrowing from dummy half. Puts the palm into the face there of Robert Gudgeon. Still going. What a run there by the hooker. 41 metres away from the line. They'll get up and play the ball. Edge of the cricket pitch. Who wants the ball now? Comes back then out of Porter. He gives it away to Finn. He charges down inside the 20. Fourth tackle coming up for the Rosellas, 15 metres in from the Western touch line. Back to Gordon, scooting from dummy half. As we mentioned, the highest point scorer for the Rosellas, Wolford. Back there now to the 7 in Murray. He's also picked up 4 tries. Pretty good on the boot as well. The ball's in goal, gone dead.
Yeah, knocked on there by Callan Richardson. Looked like a good opportunity for another try off a very high kick into the corner. Wests have come all the way from that kickoff, so they've travelled 100 metres. Really, the Port Stephen Sharks struggling in defence on that set of 6.
Getting a few tweets through as well. Shirley says, Steve, where did the Swede nickname come from?
Tell Shirley if sorry, I have to kill her if I have to tell her.
We'll tell you later on, Shirley, if you're listening. Personal call maybe. Steve to Shirl up at Cessnock. This is the 10. This is Tani. Maybe a little bit of a hint. No, he's playing it safe. 5 metres short of the halfway line. They spin it through the back line. The 11 is with it. This is Payton. Back to Palau. Comes back on the inside. Bumps away from the 9 in Wolford. And he comes back into the ground.
He's a strong player,
away.
Palau, isn't he? Like he's a real menace to the defence. Like that was a real strong run. Took 3 players to bring him down. And Port Stephen Sharks in really good field position, centre of the park here.
This is Green. Looks up, looking for support. Flicks it out the back. Keeping it alive. Could be play on if the Sharkies get to the football. Referee has said penalty. Which way? To the Rosellas?
I think the Port Stephen Shark player was offside from his own player's kick. Lamb's protesting to the referee, but it's just fairly obvious on that one. The touch judge had ruled it, and it'll be a penalty to Western Suburbs right on the 40-metre line.
And Brad Murray says, boys, let's play it up the other end for a while. And he has a good touch finder. Finds the line right on the halfway line as well. This is Jake Finn taking the tackle there of Dan Harris and also Tani. This is Wolford, Porter, Tafua, McBabe around the top. Downstairs, Ryan O'Connor. Wolford through the arms. Tafua, Larry offloading's gone forward. Referee says play on. Richardson's with the football. Playing in the countryside, off to Hawaii, Richardson. Back to Larry, the workaholic with the football. 4 metres away from the line. Wolford has it in his hands. Looking for the 7. The 7 will find the ground. Ball's on the ground. Got to be picked up by Gordon. What can he do? Stepping, weaving, charges back. And he's going to be dropped down 5 metres away. When Tani plays the ball back to Wolford. Away down to the 7. They're going to run it. Show and go there by the 7 in Murray. Goes to the line. Is he close? He's short or is he over? He may have went all the way. Referee's consulting with his touch judge. He's given the try. What an individual effort there by the Western Suburbs Rosella.
Yeah, what's a lot of broken field play then. What happened was the ball travelled from the right to the left-hand side on the 20-metre line. It was missed by the centre. McCabe chased up on Steve Gordon. He brushed back on the inside. There was a quick play of the ball. Went to the halfback. Murray dummied at the line, went through, 15 out, and was just too strong.
No double movement. The pitches exclusively there reveal that he was still carrying the football, still had momentum in the tackle as we follow through now in real time. Slowing it down. Let's just check if he got the ball down and then carried it over the line. Still moving in the tackle. Fair try.
Yeah, well, it looks like momentum just got him over the line then. However, you've got to, it's a very touch and go. It's 6 and 1, half a dozen the other if they move their arms and promote the football. But in that case, no, I'll go with the momentum rule.
If the Newcastle Rugby League had the option to go up to the video referee, do you think it would have still have been a try?
Yes, I think it would have been a try. So you've got to allow for the actual tackle players, and we're looking at it in slow motion there. And the referee's only got one view of it, and so is the touch judge from this side. And it would have been a try every day.
So it's 8-0 here on the Bar TV scoreboard, and not the best kickoff that you'll ever see from the Port Stephens Sharks. So the Rosellas have good field territory on tackle number 1. They're 5 metres short of the halfway line. Back to the 18 mark to Fua.
What West are trying to do is they're playing centre of the field. They're trying to get the Port Stephens defence to come in by turning the ball under all the time. To both the Tafuas are running very big inside lines, and it's troubling because the outside defenders for the Port Stephens Sharks are having to rush up to try and cover 2 or 3 players.
And it's a critical time in the match as well. 20 minutes down, 20 to go. 3 games after this one for the Sharks in 7 days. Are they a bit leg weary? This is Wolford. Last tackle now. They pick it up from dummy half. Gee, they've got a bit of class on display. This is Gordon. Takes it out the back. Play on. Smith gets it down and gets the 3rd try. Could be the 3rd. It is the 3rd.
Yeah, I think one of the Port Stephens players got his hand to that ball, knocked it down. It was picked up back on the inside by Justin Smith, was it? And he's gone over to score a good try for Western Suburbs.
Well, this will be an interesting one coming up on the highlights reel throughout the week. Unbelievable. Have a look at the Bar TV highlights throughout the week. We'll have it up and live probably tomorrow.
Well, Jay Porter went to the line. He went to the line. He took 2 players with him. So there was a 3-on-2 position there for Jade Porter. He weighted the ball. It was knocked down by the Port Stephens Sharks centre, I think Jimmy McCabe. And then the fullback following up picked it up and had about 4 metres to run, knocked it over 5 metres from the touchline in the left-hand corner here at Arca Oval.
And it's all in front of this man right there on your screen. Steve Gordon to add the extra 2 points, 5 metres in.
You just look over at the huddle. The trainers are really trying to encourage the Port Stephens Sharks just to keep their heads up a little bit, not to let this get away from them in a quick period, as it can do when you're playing Wests.
looking to make 50 points if the kick is successful. Bringing it back around, it looks okay off the boot. It's an absolute ripper.
Yeah, fantastic kick there on the sideline by Steve Gordon. He's a player that really every side would like to have in the real NRL. He just offers so much as a centre, as a goal kicker, and as a defensive player.
Steve the Swede Dunstan in the Bar TV commentary box. Back here. We're back underway here on Bar TV. Wherever you may be clicking on and tuning in, we welcome you to the coverage. Steve the Swede Dunstan and Peter Jolly in the commentary box here this afternoon. Round 11 of the Tui's Cup. This is Tafua. Runs into Kupu. Biggest man out on the field. Say Larry be up there as well, the younger brother. 5 metres out from the line. Wolford. Speaking of the 8, he's got it now. This is Mark Tafua. Put away there by Justin Affleck. Wolford picks it up from dummy half. Shows and goes right, goes left. Picks up the 13 in Miller. And the cricket pitch is where they've lost the football. So a tiny knock on there, Big Sweet. 5 metres inside the Rosellas half.
They're just trying to do a little too much in that set. I think Barney Miller wouldn't be happy because they got to the 4th tackle. They got good field position, centre of the park for a kick downfield. Just tried to push the ball in the tackle, turned it over. So we'll have a scrum 40 out. It'll be Sharks' feed. And let's see if the Sharks can get them back into the match here and put some pressure on these Western Rosellas players.
We don't see that every day. The big Tafua ended up shaking hands with the referee. We'll have a look at that as the highlights reveal throughout the week as well.
He was probably welcoming him to his first game in first grade.
Great to see, isn't it? You know, the players and as well building up that repertoire with the referee. Back there, oh, look at the big shot over the top. Speaking of Larry, there he is again with his eldest brother over the top in Mark. Plays the ball back to Harris. On it comes now through the back line. This is Brodie Lamb looking, flicking, throwing, lost it. And the scrum will pack down this time, 40 metres away from the Rosellas goal line.
Now, that backdoor play that's put on by most of the clubs now, we are putting it on 40 or 50 metres out from your line. There's not a lot to be achieved. You want to be doing that down really in the good ball area, in the 20 or in the 10, closer to the line when you're putting the defence under pressure. The defence can easily slide on that ball, and that's what happened then. Put pressure on the offload, turn the ball over.
16-0. 12 minutes out from the break. The undefeated premiers haven't had it all their own way. Credit to the Sharks to kick the scoreboard at where it is. And that aggressive defence is what led to that error there. Up in your face defence. So the Sharkies, they might be coming dead set last on the competition scoreboard, but they're going to rattle a few teams between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, just a word there for the right centre, James McCabe, who's a Port Stephens Sharks stalwart. Jimmy, one of the nicest guys ever to pull on a football boot. He's a very strong defensive player. When Gordon went and stepped and pulled the player underneath him, he saw McCabe coming, had a big look and dropped the ball.
Lost the football, penalty stripped. Right in front of the referee. That was Willie Palau. Now they'll kick the football into touch. And they find the line as the Bar TV cameras reveal. 30 metres away from the Rosellas goal line. Quick tap. They come away through the middle. The big prop, Roy McMahon. Of course, got his opportunity when Khan Doyle was a late exclusion. This is Brodie Lamb. Looks up at the defensive line, says, who am I going to run at? Jake Finn's got him. And Gordon. Referee tells him to go back and play the football. That's what he does. Just waiting for the whistle. There it is. Back through the middle of the field again. Tamara Kupu. Offloading. That was touched by the Rosella. Comes back to the Shark. That could be 6 to go.
Should be 6 to go. Should be.
He's missed it. And now he's called it up. Well, they're unlucky there, the Sharkies.
And there's Trent Green over there blowing up. He's having a fair bit to say. Banging his hands together like... But realistically, the touch judge was only 15 metres away from that. He should have picked that up. The referee was standing and he had good vision. He should have picked it up.
Well, we're 55 miles away and we picked it up. So, I mean, you know, it wasn't that hard not to see what happened there. Anyway, dodgy call there from the referee in our opinion. The Sharks should have it. What's the old saying? Don't cry over spilt milk. Play on. As now the Rosellas take it forward. This is Ale. 7 tries this season.
Yeah, the Rosellas really need a strong set here. They haven't completed their last 3. And they just look as though the game got out to 16-0 and they're going to try and challenge them on the outside early in the set rather than get to the kick and get some good field position to play some footy.
This is the youngster in Mitch Williams. 3 metres inside the Sharks territory, Wolford. Back to Miller. Takes the tackle there of Justin Affleck. Wolford again. They're going to kick. In towards the 10-metre line. Lamb. Will he play at the football? Will he need to? Gee whiz. How about the confidence of the fullback for the Sharkies?
Yeah, well left there by Brody Lamb. He could have quite easily been red-faced had that ball stayed in. Two Western Suburbs players were right on his hammer. But it just rolled into touch perfectly. There'll be a scrum 10 metres out and a Port Stephens Shark feed.
Not long remaining, 9 minutes in the match. 16-point ball game here on Bar TV. Hashtag Bar TV Sports. And give us the feedback if you're watching the pitches coming live out of Harker Oval. Peter Jolly and Steve the Swede Dunstan. Of course, Steve coached over 450 games across the spectrum. The 97 right-hand man to Mal Reilly. Coached Raymond Terrace. Now he's a multi-all-rounder up at the Cessnock Goannas with the under-23s and, of course, first grade. This is the Sharks with the football. They're going to kick outside their own 40. It was knocked down. Was it played at? Will the referee this time reward? 6 to go. No. Now he does. 5 metres short of the halfway line. The 5 is with it. This is Donnelly. Runs into Steve Gordon.
It's a scourge of all coaches, isn't it? Players charging down the ball on the last tackle. Now we're going to back it up with a penalty to the Sharks. The ref's going to call time off and have a little bit to say. But what happens there is we've got players charging down the ball on the 5th tackle in that set, and when we should be allowing them to get the kick away and just get some good field position bringing the ball back.
Well, Ale goes over and has a chat on the run, saying what happened there. There's the whistle, penalty to the Sharks.
Well, he's done a fairly good job as a referee today. He's kept a very good 10 metres, and there hasn't been any real issues or challenges out there. So let's hope he keeps it up.
That pass looked suspicious. You heard from the crowd forward, but the referee said play on. This is McCabe. They wrap the ball carrier up over the top and wrestle him into the ground. Reece Chappell. Now the 10. This is Marvin Tarney. Larry.
Yeah, good feet by Tarney at the line then, really struggled and had to come up. 3 defenders had to come up to put him down. That's what you want from your front rowers.
They're going out wide looking for speed. Palau bumps off 5. Still going. Slaps another one across the face. Brushed off Big Larry. And now he's brought down there by Wolford. 15 metres away from the line. Slow play the ball. Where's the penalty there? Back to the right-hand side. It's play on the 14ers with it. This is Chappell. Put away there by Finn. Here come the Sharks. 5 metres away from the line. They'll kick it high. Too much.
Yeah, well,
out on the full.
The halfback might have forgot that the winger had just made a run into the centre of the park and he wasn't out there. He kicked it for him, but he wasn't able to contest it because he was 40 metres away. So unlucky there for the halfback, for Trent Green, because it could have resulted in something good for Port Stephens.
Been an entertaining first 33 minutes here on Bar TV. A lot of good experts expected a cricket score come 40 minutes. Well, that has not happened. 16 points of the margin. Steve Gordon, 4 metres short of the halfway line. Porter, back there now. Over the halfway line they come. This is Callan Richardson. As we mentioned, he's off to Hawaii. He's play the Hawaiian residents at Aloha Stadium in a few weeks. As now they barge and crash their way out towards the eastern side of the field. Wolford. Which way will he work it? Back through the middle. Larry Tafua.
been strong to Phil while he's been out there, hasn't he? Made plenty of runs, been damaging up the middle.
This is Porter.
Giving the outside back some opportunity with his good quick play the balls.
Ale looking for his 8th try. He's picked up 7 so far this season. Donnelly wraps him up. Gordon going to kick off the right boot there of the halfback in Murray. It's a tester out there. Did well. Did he take the ball in goal? Think he has.
So he had 1 foot on the inside of the in goal, but that's what they've ruled, and this will be a 20-metre tap to Port Stephens coming away. Look, West would be unhappy with that completion of that set. They looked like they had numbers out to the right-hand side. Again, the ball went in the air for no result.
The Sharks now. Strong effort. Don't take anything away from them in the first 40 minutes of the match. 16-0 they down, but gee, the effort and commitment is in the match. And to have the defending premiers only at 16 points so far after 40 minutes, it's a magnificent effort. 4 metres short of the halfway line. Chappell, they're going to now bang it off the boot of the 9 in McCarthy. Goes back towards the in-goal area. Justin Smith will just see this ball hit the fence and back out to the 20 for the tap restart with only 4 minutes to go, 16 points to 0.
It's going to be hard to hold balls up with that breeze at your back, and that's going to be a big challenge for Port Stephens in the second half to behold West out with that like small gale at their back. But to say that, I think the Kyle McCarthy has had a real strong game in the middle of the park. He's getting his hands on the footy a lot for the Port Stephens Sharks and doing some good things.
Can they strike before halftime, the Rosellas? Sharks fans tuning in, hoping that the defence will be able to man up here. The attack now is on the ground, but the ball went forward. Couldn't quite read the play out there, and they're blowing up the Rosellas.
Oh, again, you've got to go forward before you can go sort of laterally. It's what we're doing is what West are trying to do is they're trying to get to the edges without creating any opportunity on the inside. So the defence is all there, and again, a pressure ball for the centre. He got it, a player on him and put it down. So this is really good field position for the Sharks here. Let's see if they can come up with some points.
Ball goes in, out it comes. Centre of the field, slipping over there was Robert Gudgeon. 41 metres away from the Rosellas line. Trailing by 16 points to 0. Kupu is with the football. Lamb burrows from dummy half, picks up good metres. Out the back the ball came. McCabe's got the football and runs into Steve Gordon. Plays the football 5 metres in from the western touch line. Kupu put away there by Finn and Lucas Miller. This is Chappell. Looking forward to going into the goal post area. They're going to go close. McMahon's close. Gee, nearly went all the way. A metre out from the line. Last tackle. Danger yet not gone here for the Rosellas. What will they do? Tarney's with the football, and it's the last tackle change over.
It's probably not the player it needed to go to the front row in that set, but boy, it looked like McMahon was over for all money, but the fullback and the winger came up with a great tackle just on the goal line to stop what was a certain 4 points.
And Larry Dafua, half the squad's in there to bring him down. 15 metres in from the eastern touch line. They're not long on the scoreboard to go. We're inside the last 50 seconds of the match. Dryden, that was flat. Too flat, was forward. The Gordon. Well, they'll look to pack a scrum quickly, or what are they going to do here, Sweet?
There's 2 or 3 blokes cheering and saying, get in here nice and sharp so we can pack the scrum. They're going to have about 32 seconds left on the scoreboard till half time, so let's see if they can come up with something.
Well, he hasn't stopped the clock. He wants the clock to go forward now. He might even stop it. Well, he stops it now. Number 9's blowing up. Kyle McCarthy said the clock should have been stopped 10 seconds ago. Scrum will go down. Time off.
One play. They've got one play.
Which way will they go? Green. It kicks it in the end goal area. Ball may go dead, and it does. Well, that was that one play you spoke about. 8 seconds, 6 seconds to go. We won't have any more action, I don't believe, in the first 40 here of the Tooheys Cup here on Bar TV. So at Oranges, The siren goes in the background. 16 points to nil. Rosellas over the Sharkies. But by gee, the Sharkies very impressive against the defending premiers in the first 40.
Yeah, you've got to give it to the Sharks. They, like, for the first 10 minutes, they've completed like 9 out of 10 of their sets. I think Barney Miller will be very unhappy with his side. They'd be at about a 50% completion rate, maybe even less. They've turned over a lot of footy in the last 10 minutes. Since they got out to a 16-0 lead, they haven't played some flash football. So I think there'll be some stern words coming out of Barney at half-time. So, and it might not be very pretty down there.
Okay. Well, what we might do, we might take a break here from the Bar TV commentary box here at Harker Oval and come back in approximately 10 minutes' time for the second half here. It's the Tooheys Cup. It's round 11. You're with Peter Jolly and also Steve the Sweet Dunstan on Bar TV at the break at 16 points to nil in favour of the Western Suburbs Rosellas. On Bar TV, 40 down, 40 minutes to go, and Brodie Lamb has not got the second 40 back underway the way his side and his coach would have expected. First knock on the first tackle, Steve.
Yeah, well, you saw the Western Suburbs play come out of the tunnel, or come out of the dressing rooms then with a lot more sort of, their body language was really up. So I'd say Craig Miller's been down there and given an absolute bake based on that last 20 minutes of the first half. And that knock-on's put Port Stephens under a lot of pressure here.
Let's hope that the floodgates don't open. 16 points to nil. The ball this time is Murray. Away to Williams. He takes the line on. Penny.
Really short on the left, Port Stephens.
This is the way they go up the middle. Tafua. Penny goes from dummy half. Offloading the ball. Williams is close. A metre short of the goal line.
Still short on the left, only two players on the left-hand side of the post.
That's the way they go, Steve. Dryden's with the football. Still short to the left. Put it through your hands. They're going to dribble into the in-goal area. Fullback positioned himself well, Lamb. He's not going to get back in the field of play. Well, his side will now because they've got a penalty.
Yeah, both players were in front of that kick, other than the player that kicked it, obviously. But, yeah, the referee's talking to the Port Stephens players about something that happened. There's a little incident off the ball then. So two players came in contact. I'll just see if I can see what's happened.
Well, they shoot it in a touch. And this is where they go back on the attack. So the Sharks now barging their way forward through the middle of the field, through the four. This is James McCabe. Still continuing to come towards the cricket pitch. Just for our second half viewers, thanks for tuning in. We're in the commentary box with Steve the Swede Dunstan. Of course, Mal Reilly's right-hand man in the Newcastle Knights grand final. And of course, doesn't that bring back a few memories, Steve, when Andrew Johns went blindside and Darren Albert got the ball and went under the post.
It was one of the best days of my life, other than the birth of my kids. That was probably the best day of my life, yeah.
Were you on the sideline with the boys that day?
No, I was up in the stands with Malcolm when that happened, but that ball's found touch looks like the Port Stephens, Western Suburbs fullback has stepped into touch and taken the ball out. So that'll be a scrum feed to the Port Stephens Sharks, 10 metres out from the goal line, and some real pressure here coming.
Scrum, there's players walking over to the scrum. This is it on the Bar TV replay of the incident leading to the scrum. Foot on the touchline right there. Gee, skipping around, hoping that his toenail didn't go on the chalk. Just couldn't quite go the opposite way. 21 metres away, the Sharks from the Rosellas line. 16 points to nil, they trail. 2 minutes gone, second half. Options either way. Which way will they work it? Slow play to football. Comes back through the left-hand side. They're throwing the dummy out the back. This is Tarney. He straightens up. He barges towards the line. Tarney. A metre short. Defence desperate. Palau. He thought he witnessed a hole, but the hole closed just as quick as his eyes deceived him. They're going to spin it through the back line. They've got an overlap out wide. If they can put it through the hands, away to McGabe. He's got his winger. They'll score. Donnelly's in the corner. That's the first try for the Sharkies. Well, you could see it coming a mile away.
Yeah, good effort by the Sharks. And three very good passes. Hit blokes in the hands, not on the chest. Ball went right to the edge, and Jared Donnelly finished off after a fine draw and pass from the legend and the veteran, James McCabe.
Oh, what about the pass from Wolford? Oh, I should say Trent Green. And this was an equal 1-2. Did it float forward? No, that's okay. That's a try to Jared Donnelly. We'll give that, Steve.
Yeah, the touch judge was right in line with it, and he nodded his head as the pass went. Jimmy threw the pass. Yeah, good effort by the winger to cover then, but Jimmy drew him, held the ball right up, and hit the winger He scores in the corner, and that's a great result for Port Stephens Sharks straight after half-time.
Well, they're leading the second half 4-0. If you want to put a spin on it.
Unfortunately, they don't pay on that at the end of the day, but...
No. We might have to change the footy tab rules. What do you reckon? 16 points to 4. Here's the kick from right out on the eastern touchline. The Sharkies, can they turn 4 into 6? Here's the kick. It's coming back around, but just not quite enough. So no change to the Bar TV scoreboard. It's 16 points to 4. 5 minutes gone in the second half.
There's some good body language out there for the Sharks at the moment. They look as though they're enjoying this position in this match. So look, if they can score next and get back to 16-10, this is going to be a really good finish to this game.
Mate, talk us through that 97 grand final for a few moments. The adrenaline, the rush, the Knights' first premiership. You were with Mal really and the boys.
Yeah, it was.
What was it like?
Yeah, it was like. I think the difference that in that era was the group of players that were playing were really close. Everyone was good mates and everyone stuck together. And at the end of the day, when Manly led and we came back, it was all about how close the team was. They stuck together. They did it for each other. And at the end of the day, Joey had come out of hospital. There was a few things went against us, but that crowd and the people in Newcastle got behind us. And the feeling coming back along the expressway, seeing everyone there, it was just one you'll never forget. It was amazing.
And not since 97 has the entire crowd stayed for a presentation. There's just that chant, Newcastle, that went around that Sydney Football Stadium will be a player's dream they'll never forget.
Yeah, well, I've got goosebumples like carbuncles here even talking about it, so...
And of course, Mal really, off the field, just as like he was on off the field, great competitor.
Well, Mal's biggest or strongest point was his man management. He was able to manage, there was 9 or 10 rep players, O'Davis, Harrigan, we're talking, and then players developed from that, and he was able to manage them and look after them, and so we didn't have any off-field dramas, and that was important.
And of course, Malcolm really is living in the Newcastle area at the moment with his son too, Glenn. Out to the 40-metre line they come now, the Rosellas. Richardson from dummy half picks up space. Couldn't quite give the ball away there to Porter. Quick play the football. The 14ers with it. This is Mitch Williams. Runs to Kyle McCarthy. Penny. Off the boot there of Murray. The high one. Will the ball bounce? No. Straight into the possession there of the Rosellas, and they've got the ball, but it's the last tackle. Back to the Sharks, 5 out from their own goal line.
And that's all they need to do, Port Stephens Sharks, for those kicks. They just need to get numbers around the footy and around the catches, and that's what they did then. They've come up with a footy. What they need some field position. You can't win the game from the other end. So possession versus position, it's the old question, but we really need some field position up this end to put any pressure on the Western Suburbs defence.
Definitely their effort and commitment. It's been there for the Sharkies. A little few silly mistakes in previous seasons have been costly, and defensive errors have let them down. But so far today, they've been able to put on a good show here in the Tooheys Cup.
That's another good kick from McCarthy. He's managed to find the gap between the fullback and the halfback and backed it up. He chased really hard with the footy, but there's a strong run back from the winger on the right-hand side.
And this is Ale. He'll play the ball. Big Swede plays it back to Justin Smith. Runs it to the 40. Put away there by Chappell. Penny. Shorter comes to Dryden. 106th. First grade game for Western Suburbs. Miller. Runs right over the top there. 21 metres out from the goal line. Penny sees a gap. Finds Dryden, offloaded, touched, play on, Tafua towards the line, he'll score! Tafua's in! They weren't going to stop big Larry Tafua from 5 metres out, the big Swede. He knew his way to the goal line and he's got the try.
And again, the murderous mountain of mayhem. He was right there as the ball looped into the air and he was unstoppable from that far out. It was just like, at that stage, look, Port Stephens Sharks looked like they had it covered, but the ball bounced off the hand of the Port Stephens player. Tafua picked it up. With no one in front of him, he charged over the line.
Have a look at this on the replay coming up. It was good vision. The flick that pass. It was touched there by Trent Green from the Sharkies. Came back to Big Larry. Big palm in the chest of Brodie Lamb. Says, get out of the way. I'm heading over the line. And bang, he's got the football down for the first try for the Rosellas in the second half.
Yeah, well, if I was voting a man of the match, he's come off the bench to Fua, but he's been really strong while he's been out there. He's charged, he's backed up, he's defended well in the middle of the park, and, yeah, he's been very impressive today.
As we see it again unfold, 120-odd kilos plus. Nobody was going to get him. 60 kilos, roughly, Brodie Lamb. And as you said...
And then I turn around and there's Joel Osborne hiding in the hallway, the number one, or the fullback for Port Stephens Sharks.
Looks like a thief in the night with that hoodie on as well. We might have a word with him as well as we have a gaze back down from the commentary box.
Yeah, well, the Port Stephens Sharks are very unlucky then because they had that covered. They turned the ball over, shorted up, and then Western Suburbs have come up with points. 20-4. Let's just hope that doesn't damage the ability of Port Stephens to get back in this footy game.
Mate, the Sharks pretty impressive against the defending premiers this afternoon.
Yeah, mate, they're hanging in there considering we've got quite a few blokes out today. So hopefully we can keep grinding away. There's just a few unlucky options. Our kicking, has been a bit undesired, but if we could keep the ball in play a bit more, would be good. But yeah, they're hanging in there.
What's kept you out of the game today, mate?
I got a bad knock on my knee on Wednesday night's catch-up game against Charlestown, which was a tough one. Three games in a week was a bit too much for me. So yeah, hopefully I can be back next week.
Well, your mate Quinny sent me a text and he reckons you're soft. Is that right or not?
Oh.
You got any words for him?
Oh, mate, his nose is that big. It's just, I don't want to put it out of place.
Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts around the hooker McCarthy and the young bloke at fullback Brodie Lamb?
Yeah, mate. Kyle's pretty consistent. You had to move him back into the halves, but yeah, he is a really good at hooker, especially when you get the quick play the balls. He can dominate, but as I said, a few blokes are out, so we've had to change it around today. So yeah,
good to have Jimmy McCabe out there, the legend, the veteran.
He's a champion, mate, and most clubs would love to have him, and he just loves playing for the Sharks. So,
mate, how long will you be out of action for?
I'll just see how it pulls up next week, and hopefully be back for next week's game. Yeah, so looking forward to get back on the paddock.
Big game, of course, up against Cessnock, I believe, next week.
Yeah, it should be another tough one, but doesn't get any easier.
Port Stephens Shark on the attack here. McCabe's held up. He's about 10 metres out from the line. Back to you, Peter.
Thanks a bit, Floyd. Let's see if they can go all the way here. The 7 is with it. This is Green kicking out wide. They go up high, and Callan Richardson comes down with the football. So back out to the 20 for a tap restart. But the right idea from the Sharkies was pretty good.
Yeah, they're playing some consistent football. You've got to give it to that. At the end of the day, and that's what it's all about, getting to the completions of your sets, that gives you an opportunity to get your defence set when the opposing team's bringing it out.
This is Tafua. And Larry gets the legs pumping once again. Justin Affleck downstairs. Wolford burrowing from dummy half. Runs into Harris, offloading the football. And they're drawing closer to go over the 40-metre line. They'll play it 38 out from the line again. Back to Larry Tafua. The steamroller. He's got the football. Plays it back. Where will it come now? Away to Murray. Turns it back on the inside. Smith's got the support. And Williams. He goes over underneath the post. Rosella's second try of the second half.
Yeah, just a few holes appearing in the Port Stephens defence. They've travelled 100 metres with the football, Western Suburbs, as they can do, and put some pressure on your defence. And let's have a look at that try. It was a pretty simple one. He just went to the line, held the ball up, and as you can see, player hit the hole running and went straight through.
You just never know who you might find in the Bar TV commentary box, do you, Big Tweed?
No, I've seen a couple of blokes sneaking out there. Anything could happen here. There could be a few booby traps on the way down.
As the kick from right in front, again from Steve Gordon, as we look on the Bar TV replay right now of the try. Once again, good vision by Murray, offloaded the ball, great pinpoint pass there, and Mitch Williams slams it down just short of the dead ball line, as you can see. So back now to live pitches on Bar TV from right in front of the post. Here's the kick. They don't come much easier than this. Right boot strikes it. They like it. Steve Gordon adds the extras. So that's his 23rd goal of season 2014. And the leading point scorer, I believe, too, for the Rosellas.
Yeah, it's good to see you done your homework, Pete, on that one. But look, Gordon in front's never going to miss that. But what the Port Stephens Sharks will be disappointed about is the fact that they turned that ball over and they've let Port Stephens come 100 metres. You know, they looked as though they were back in the match. It's just blown out now to 24-4. It's a 20-point margin. But look, some strange things that happen. Let's see what happens here today.
Dryden runs into McBabe. Ball played back. 24 minutes remaining in the Tooheys Cup Round 11 clash. You're with Steve, the Big Sweet Dunstan. Great to have him in the box for the first time, making his commentary debut for Bar TV. For a moment, thought they were going to lose the ball, and they have.
The referee will go back to the scrum because there's no advantage to Port Stephens there. The ball was knocked on. Again, West playing a little bit laterally early in the set. Off the back of a try, and I know, Barney, that's for a coach, that's a no-no, not to complete your set after you scored. So it's a very important part of your game and part of your program.
Okay, so a few inspirational plays here by the Rosellas in the second half. And speaking of people's inspiration, Vince Lombard, I believe, is the Big Swede's inspirational character he looks up to. Is that right?
Yeah, well, Vince Lombardi, and everyone knows Vince Lombardi is probably one of the most renowned coaches or football coaches in worldwide. And he had one of the quotes which I really love, and it's probably evident or most evident around football. And it goes something like, if you're not fired with enthusiasm, you'll be fired with enthusiasm. It's a strange use of the English language, but good use.
Yeah. Spot on the money there as well. McCabe plays it back. The Sharkies, never say die attitude. This is Kupu offloading the ball to Chappell.
Great ball.
Down about 22 metres away from the Rosellas goal line. Where will it come now? Look at them flying onto it. They're not dead and buried in this match yet. Don't for 1 second think they're out. Let's see if they can turn attack into points. Gudgeon runs into Tim Penny. Harris centre to the left. McCarthy dribbling it into the end goal area. They're coming through. They'll score, will they? Oh, gee, that was close.
I think Trent Green's got his hand on that, and I think it'll be a try.
What a try to the Sharks. Brilliant play by Trent Green. He went towards the football. There was only, metres between the ball and the dead ball line, and you can never underestimate a halfback.
Well, the little grubber kick, and the rugby league ball can do anything. It held up a little bit too, which enabled Green to get back on the inside. And in what was about 3 or 4 players going for the football, he got down to it first, got his hand on it, and scored right under the post here at Harker Oval.
20 minutes to go in the match. 26 plays. 8 with a kick to come.
It should be 10. It's right in front, and most players can backheel these over. Look, Port Stephens will be a little bit disappointed, even though they've scored, that they let that last try in. So let's hope that this game can turn into a real tussle over the last 20-odd minutes.
Here's the kick from right in front. McCarthy adds the extras. Well, we're alive and kicking on Twitter. And other tweets coming in this afternoon. And I'm pretty sure that's all because of the match unfolding, but also, more importantly, Steve the Sweet Dunstan. You got a few followers on Twitter, Steve, and they're all tuning into the coverage here this afternoon. Matt Embram says, how good is he going? The Country Rugby League have backed up those thoughts. The Cessnock Goannas are saying he's done his homework. And he should be part of the Bar TV commentary team a lot more often. Well, anytime he would like a spot in the box, he's more than welcome, as now the Sharkies. As the defence converges and they push them towards the sideline, and there's a penalty, Steve. Well, they're blowing up too, aren't they?
Well, the referee's called held, and it's not as though the players wouldn't have heard him because there's only like 2 men and a dog at the ground, so it wouldn't have been over the crowd. So, yeah, it's another good piece of field position for the Port Stephens Sharks. They're about 60 metres out from the Western Suburbs goal line. They've got a full set in front of them, and they just need to get to the kick and put some pressure.
Mark Tafua is in that tackle. They spin it towards the commentary side, the Sharkies. Out towards the halfway line here. Sloppy play the ball. And it was a knock on.
Unfortunately, there's a scourge of all coaches and people and supporters that, you know, get into good field position like that and turn the ball over. Simply a poor ball security in the tackle and turn the ball over. And now Wests have premier position right centre halfway, heading towards the, what end would you call it? The Lambton end?
Yeah, the club end, yeah. McDonald's end, yeah. We'll make it up as we go along. Story of the season, as we see now the 11. This is Finn. He takes the ball to be tackled 35 metres out from the line. The 10 is with it. Petro down to the 20. Plays the football.
Just talking to club veteran for Western Suburbs, Jeff Wright, he was telling me that Jake Finn has been called into the country rugby league side as a replacement for Brendan Worth, who was injured yesterday in the Curry game.
Right.
Brendan's torn a bicep muscle, so he'll be out probably for the year.
Yeah, we'll talk about that shortly. Here's the kick. It's a ricochet off a Shark, back to another Shark. And they've come up with a football. And, of course, Steve, you're referring to the Lavea Festival over there in Hawaii.
Well, as Dave Woodbury described it, it's a junket.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, there's a lot of people out there not sure if junket is the right thing, but, you know, it's a trip of a lifetime, no doubt about that, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. For the players representing the country, there's nothing, it wouldn't be a more prouder moment for them to pull on that country jumper in another country, using the words up there. But, like, and for Brandon, I know he was, like, absolutely distraught yesterday when I spoke to him after the game. He'd probably be having surgery on that injury this afternoon or tomorrow. And it's probably one that'll end his footballing career.
Well, there was a lot of talk going around in the last few months that the New South Wales countryside were going to play the USA Tomahawks. Well, that's not the case. There will be a warm-up match the week before New South Wales country play the Hawaiian residents. And, of course, that is the undercard to the big Ohana Cup, which will be following that match between USA and Samoa. Now, the match will be in Australian time on the 26th, I think you'll find, of July, or the 20th of July, and that will be 3:30.
Marcus not straight there. West got a penalty 20 metres out from the line in dangerous position here.
And Jake Finn takes it forward. And of course, USA and Samoa will play after that match around 5:30 New South Wales time. So a big double header coming up over there at Aloha Stadium on Sunday, July the 20th. 5 metres away from the goal line. Tickets are on sale if you're heading to Hawaii as well. Back then out to the right-hand side of the field, the Sevens with it. This is Murray. What can he do? He can just stand in the tackle. 5 metres away from the goal line. Wolford back to the left-hand side. They pick up Porter. With the ball there is Ryan Petro. Picked up a try last week against Curry. This is Wolford. Goes from dummy half. He's dangerous. Offloading the football. Tafua on the line. And the former Shark will play the ball with his mouth guard on show. Back then out of the kicker. Where's the chasers? Danger out here for the Sharks. Justin Smith comes down with it and scores.
Yeah, that's a great try by Justin Smith. Got himself in good position for the kick by Brad Murray. It was an outstanding kick, just the right height, just the right length. Smith went up, pulled the ball from the air and scored in the right-hand corner at the Western Suburbs club end.
This is it on the replay. Well, we've seen a few kicks this afternoon resulting in high kicks towards the air and a blustery breeze as well. Just have a look at Justin Smith. Never ended up taking his eye off the football. Ended up taking the mark in AFL speak and came down with it and planted it down. Brilliant stuff there by the fullback.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, it was an excellent try. He just got himself in really good field position on the back of the kick. The kick was pitch perfect, and Smith goes up, pulls it down, and scores in the right-hand corner. And really, again, it's a lottery for the players on the right-hand side. They're trying to defend it. Just if the kick's pitch perfect, it's very hard to defend.
And poor old Robert Gudgeon. He was in two minds whether to attack the ball or tap it back. Unfortunately for the Sharkies, didn't quite go the way that Gudgeon would have liked to have read that, but nonetheless.
And they've defended that side of the field really well. Palau and Gudgeon, they both look strong. Gudgeon looks like a fairly promising player. I know he came out of Moree. I think I heard a little bit about him, and I've seen him play 2 or 3 times this season. He looks like a player with a bit of a future.
Here's the kick. Steve Gordon from the touchline, looking to bring back around. Didn't quite go over the middle. So waved away here. So after 70-odd minutes of the match, Western Suburbs 30, leading the Port Stephens Sharks 10. And for the people that are not quite up to date, the country first from Cessnock, Steve, we've got Riley Brown, Chris Adams, and as you mentioned, Brendan Ladd. What's the story there?
Well, Brendan Ladd was seriously injured in a very very controversial tackle yesterday. We'll probably hear a little bit more about that during the week. But I know Riley's partner is very close to having her baby, so he may be a doubtful starter on that tour. But I know Chris Adams is looking forward to it. Chris didn't play yesterday. He's got a minor rib injury, and I just think that players that are coming out of the Newcastle NRL that are going to represent the country will do a great job.
Only 3 weeks away as well. This is Wolford. Back to Murray. They go short. Here goes Williams down the sideline. He's got Richardson. He kicks it back into the inside, looking for Smith. Ball goes dead and out. Back out to the 20. Gee, they're looking good in attack.
Yeah, a pretty sharp move down the right-hand side of the park. Richardson looked like he was in the clear. He chipped it in field. He had 4 players in field that could have any one of them could have scored, but the ball on the back of the breeze went deep over the dead ball line.
And of course, the Western Suburbs Rosellas have around 3 as well heading over there. Of course, Simon Williams speaking into the countryside to go to Aloha Stadium on July 20. Simon Williams has got the call up. Callan Richardson as well, and Peter Mannion. So the Rosellas in coming weeks will be down on 3 of their strike. And now Finn, of course, as the Sweet just mentioned, who's got the call up as well. So they'll be down 4 for the next at least 3 competition games right in the middle of the season.
And that's probably the only issue for some of the clubs. To take 4 first-grade players out of the team can obviously weaken the teams. But look, Western Suburbs are a strong club. They have good, strong representatives across the grades, and I'm sure they'll fill those positions easily.
As the Sharkies through Harris at a dummy half. Fires it back now to McCarthy. Ball's high. Ball could go straight into the possession. They do, of the Rosellas, and they've got the football. And, of course, this is Steve Gordon. As we mentioned at the top, the highest point scorer for the Western Suburbs Rosellas in 2014. This is Jake Finn, who was selected to head across to Hawaii. Back then out to Tafua, up the middle of the field, and takes the tackle, smack bang, in the cricket pitch. Wolford inside the Sharks' territory by 10 metres. This is Petro. Getting off him there was Tarney. Slow play the ball. Did he lose it? Yes, he did. They don't like the call, though.
Well, he's pleading with the referee that there were hands all over the ball, and he's probably right. At the end of the day, we see 5 or 6 penalties in a match that are exactly the same. It's just how the referee sees what happened in the ruck, and he sees there that he lost the ball. So I disagree, and so do the Western Suburbs players, but it's a scrum feed to Port Stephens.
He's had a few tough calls, the referee here this afternoon. No doubt he'll be reviewing the Bar TV coverage to see exactly how he could improve or looking to go forward. Here's a penalty. He knows how to blow the whistle. 40 metres out from the Sharkies line is where they're awarded the penalty.
And again, it was Palau coming from the other side to make that hit up, taking some pressure off his forwards, trying to get yards and trying to get a quick play the ball.
20-point ball game here. Inside the last 9 minutes of the match. James McBabe. Spinning it through the middle again. Just outside of the cricket pitch area. 40 away from the Rosellas goal line. O'Connor, short to Affleck. Runs to Tafua. Dan Harris, being busy in a dummy half. Green, the 12 is with it. Kupu, out wide, the winger. They come back on the inside, and they drop down. This is Donnelly, put away there by Ryan Petro. Harris, Green, goes himself, Green. He's got the try line in front of him. Support's there. But the referee has said you've lost the football. 5 away from the Rosellas goal line.
5 metres off the goal line there, Trent Green. Looked like he was going to score a try. Just he got pulled up, tried to get a forced offload to a player that wasn't in a better position than him. He probably should have held it and probably knows he should have. It'll be a turnover in Western Suburbs ball, 10 metres out from their own goal line. 9 minutes to go here at Harker Oval.
And 7 days away from Western Suburbs. Well, 6 days away, they play the Lakes United side next Saturday. That'll be a good contest as we see the scrum being formed again. And, of course, for Port Stephens, they take on Cessnock in round 12 of the Tooheys Cup.
Well, there were no easy games this year. Pete, that's the difference. There were no easy games. And there've been a couple of lopsided results, but I can tell you just from being involved in most of the first grade games, there are no easy football games. Their sides are pretty level across the board, and when a team decides to turn it on, they're very hard to hold out.
Thoughts there from Steve the Sweet Dunstan. In the Bar TV broadcast box today. They go over the halfway line, the Rosellas. Here's a penalty. This will help them. Time off here. Has the referee given time off? No.
Well, it's probably he just got a bit high on the tackle. His arm slid up off the ball and collected the player around the neck. He doesn't look as like he's in real good condition on the ground. But, yeah, I don't think there was any malice in the tackle.
No, definitely no malice in the tackle. As we just stand by now to get play back underway. And Callan Richardson there just breathing him in. A bit of concern here for the 14, of course, for the Rosellas in Mitch Williams. But looks like he's a bit winded. He's okay. He's back up, which is a good sign.
Well, it'll be in the Sharks' thoughts now. They don't want this to blow out anymore. You know, they've done very well today to keep the score at 30-10. In fact, they've never really been close enough to West to make it a contest, but they just don't want it to blow out here in the last 7 minutes. So everything they can put on the line in defence, and they've been strong for a team playing their third game in 7 days.
Petro runs to Affleck. Over the top there was Kupu. Wolford been busy for the first 70 minutes. Back there now to another one that's been equally impressive today, Mark Tafua.
Yeah, great feet, Tafua, hasn't he? Like, really good feet.
Wolford offloading and they're in. Williams under the post.
Well, Williams is on the ground again there, but it's under the goalpost with the ball in his hand, scoring a try. You know what I mean? A minute and a half ago, he was lying on his back on the halfway line after a high tackle. He's got up and just ran a really good line off that short, sharp pass from James Wolford, hit a good hole and scored next to the post.
This is it on the replay. Wolford, we know he can score a try from dummy half. A good short ball. And Mitch Williams runs to his opposite number in Reece Chappell. But Chappell says, I can't stop you from here. Score the try. And that's exactly what he did.
And if you look at that and you have a good look at that try, there are probably 4 defenders right on the line, and this is where a good ball and a good run line. See, there are 4 defenders there, and where they just can't come up with the tackle to stop that try. It's a very difficult line to stop when a player runs that and the ball comes at a good space from dummy half. Another good try to Wests.
And the kick was a beauty. So back here, just waiting for a football, I think you'll find. Are we out of balls?
No, we've got the players carrying the football. He's just said they're just trudging back to halfway. It's been a big 7 days for the Port Stephens Sharks, but they've been a committed team here today, and they'd like to finish well if they can get some more points on the board and not let it blow out like I said earlier.
So Kyle McCarthy gets back underway here. Harker Oval, 36 points to 10. Tafua, never say die for the full 80. Runs it back. Wolford. This is his younger brother in Larry Tafua. Some might call them father and son combination, but we better not say that. We don't want them two coming after us before we get out of the gates here at Harker Oval.
No siree.
Touch finder is a beauty. Here he comes again. Larry Tafua. You don't want to meet him in the dark, would you?
I reckon Tafua's probably had 20 touches, 20 hit-ups today. His yardage has been outstanding.
As now the Sharkies, 21 metres away from the line. This is his eldest brother. Mark plays a ball. Course from the Cronulla Sharks. This is Larry. He's after his second try. He'll offload. Murray's in. Murray scores. Another try to the Rosellas. And the floodgates, are they about to open in the dying stages of the second half?
Yeah, again, Port Stephens got caught. Coming up, they came up really quickly on the outside. The hole's open on the inside. And when quality players like Wolford and Murray are going at the line, they're very hard to stop. And we've got a very fatigued defence at the moment. So, like I said, what Port Stephens were trying to do was stop this blowing out. It's got out to 40 now. Let's hope that's the end of it.
And the put down was a good one. Out the back of his palm as well. Have a look at this on the replay coming up. Just looking for the football.
You can see the outside players. They'd sprinted up to stop the ball going out the back, and the ball went back off the right, and a nice short ball caught the players all out of position. And again, Murray went through and got the ball down really well under pressure.
And Steve Gordon looking to keep his own personal tally ticking over in season 2014. He's up around the 56 mark. Can he add another 2 on the top of that? Yes, he can.
Yeah, good kick.
Brilliant kick.
Look, I don't think Barney Miller would be entirely happy with what he's seen today out there. Like, West look like they've just probably gone through the motions today against a gallant Port Stephens Sharks side. But, they've built their completion rate up, West, in the last 20 minutes or so. They'd be probably back up around the 65% mark. Probably not good enough for a first-grade team, and that's what Barney will be working on the next few weeks.
Well, Barney is, of course, a regular in the Bar TV commentary box, and he has said on air the last 4 weeks has been, well, not woeful, but he was saying, but he's just not, from the defending premiers, they're definitely going through a bit of a rough patch. Yes, they are winning contests, but it's definitely not to the standard that he is expecting of his defending premiers at this time of the year. And, of course, he went on to say it's not going to get any easier when they have 4. And if you mentioned there, Big Swede, Jake Finn now heading across to Hawaii as well. It's making a great run. Look at him go. Jake Finn, can he get one before he goes to Hawaii? 4 metres out from the line. He'll play the football back. Wolford's got it. It's on the ground. Picked up now by Farah. He barges his way towards the goal line. And Chappell's there around the legs. And over the top there is Tarney. Wolford again. Back to the right-hand side. Murray, short pass. Tap on it. Richardson's in. Richardson's in the corner. Another try to the Rosellas. They slap hands, they whack backs, and that's a try.
Yeah, great tip on by Simon Williams. And yeah, the ball went wide. The Western Suburbs always had numbers after the ball was kicked out on the full from that last try. West kicked it out. They were at a 30-metre mark. They worked to the centre of the field with their two big forwards, came to the edge, and then we've got Finn busting through the middle, just pulled down about 5 metres out. The ball came to the right, and with numbers and a flick on from the centre, Williams, a nice try in the corner to Richardson.
Jake Finn in the 11 in the second row today. It's been well played, led from example, and of course a great asset to that country first squad, which is heading across the Pacific in a few weeks' time to take on the Hawaiian residents. This is it again on the replay. Quick hands, tap and go. And who was to finish it off? Callan Richardson. Speaking of the countryside, he's heading across the Pacific as well.
Yeah, well, he's a quality finisher, Callan Richardson. He can get over the line. You don't want to give that bloke a sniff at any stage.
Seems like everybody's heading across the Pacific. 5 metres away from the...
Maybe Bar TV can get a gig.
You never know your luck in the big city. 5 metres away from the line. Aloha Stadium, it's a fantastic venue, holds around 65,000 people. It's pretty much like your Melbourne Cricket Grounds. Is that full time? It is. Well, the whistle's gone and it's game over. So it's 46 points to win in the end. Western Suburbs over the over the Sharks.
Yep. Great result for Western Suburbs, but they will be disappointed with their performance today. A gallant effort by the Port Stephens Sharks. They stayed in the game for up until about 30 minutes to go, and then it just blew out. But look, they'll be happy. That's their third game in 7 days, and like I said, there are no easy games in the comp this year. So it was a good effort.
Was a good effort. And the conditions, of course, was blustery throughout the entire 80 minutes, so a good effort by all players and spectators in here today. It's a pretty chilly afternoon here in New Lambton as well.
Yeah, that breeze has dropped off a little bit, or that gale has dropped off a little bit, so it should be an easier trip home for everyone this afternoon. But just like to take this opportunity for thanking the Bar TV team for having me on board today. It's been excellent.
Oh, mate, I think you've passed the audition. We'll have look forward to you next time in the box. No worries at all.
Thanks, Peter.
Steve. I enjoyed it with you, mate. And of course, is the big Steve, the Swede Dunstan. Of course, if you've just tuned into the broadcast right at the end, of course, the big Swede was with Malcolm Reilly back in '97, former Raymond Terrace coach, and now up with the Cessnock Go-Winners. Well, that pretty much wraps us up here from Harker Oval. Victorious by 46 points to 10. The Rosellas over the Sharkies. We'll be back on deck next weekend. On behalf of the entire Bar TV crew, we'll see you then. Bye for now.